Good morning, everybody. It is now part 2 of turkey processing. What we're doing today is that we are finishing up the rendering of the fat and skins, and then we're going to go ahead and work on the dog food and some bone broth or stock, depending on how you look at it. Now, this went for 4 hours last night, and I turned it off and cooled it. Now, what you want, you see this bone? What you want, it needs to be able to actually crush these bones with your fingers. All of it. Turn it to mush. That is what we are looking for. All the bones. And if there's any harder bones in here, we're going to go ahead and take those out. Here is part of the breastbone of the turkey. That is what we want. We're going to go ahead and drain this, reserve all the liquid, because we're going to add some of it back into here, and then we're going to go ahead and crush this up. You don't want any hard bones in here because it'll actually damage the dog, the intestines. Okay, now that I have everything set up, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and grind the bones. I am using an old food processor for this. This is something that I only use just for this. Got it at a garage sale for like $5. So you don't have to have expensive stuff. You don't even have to have new stuff to be able to do this. All you need is old stuff, because it's going to get destroyed anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and start this. We're going to put some of the bones in. This is going to get a little bit loud. Now that you see that looks like the dough, what we're going to do is we're going to actually add some more of that moisture back in to actually make it a little bit more pliable. Now this is how much juice we actually got out of that. All the carcass and all the bone broth right here. No salt, just water and the carcass. Now you want to keep adding. Okay, so it kind of looks like pate now. And you can hear my dog in the background because he knows what's coming. He is whining. He is wanting this so bad. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to put this in a bowl because we're going to add stuff to it. And keep going. It's coming, boo-boo. Okay, and here is what it's supposed to look like. Kind of like meat porridge. Now, you do want to go ahead and go through this with your hands. I recommend your hands. And wash often, have the hot water running with soap ready. Because you want to make sure that the food processor actually got all the bones in this. Because you don't want your, peppers, your family member, to actually choke. Okay, so go ahead and get your hands dirty, and I will be back after I clean everything up. Okay, so now that I've gotten everything mushed up and all the big pieces out of there, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add the additives. Now, there is a lot of things that you do not put in dog food. Onions is one of them. Onions is a major no-no for dogs. There's also herbs that you don't give them. One of them. Because of it being around turkey season, a lot of you have been giving your dogs your plates to, so, less dishes. But I highly recommend you do not. For anything, if you can find lists on the internet of what to give your dogs and what not to give your dogs. Also talk to your vet. What I'm going to do is I am going to put in pumpkin. Now, this is a dehydrated pumpkin that I actually dehydrated last year. Pumpkin is a very good digestive aid for animals. It's an anti-parasitic, and it also helps with their, it's basically fiber, and it helps with their, excrement. This is the rest of what I have. I'm going to need to buy another pumpkin. These are dehydrated squash leaves. Now, you can eat squash leaves. I've done this. I have actually put it in the in my eggs, but you have to prepare them correctly. Now, I've gone ahead and prepared them, dehydrated them, and then I'm adding it as an additive for the dog food. You can also put these in smoothies. Won't hurt you. This is sweet potato. Sweet potato is also good for dogs. I'm not going to put the whole thing in. You can also do regular potato. I put like a napkin or something in here to prevent moisture from clumping everything up. And here we have some rice type dog food that I've already canned. I canned it earlier this year. Actually, the label dog food. You can still eat this. This actually has deer in it and some other compliant things. There's deer meat, a little bit more pumpkin, and I do believe Malabar spinach, some sort of spinach in here as well. Usually, if I have them, I'll add a can of peas, which is good for dogs, but I don't have any right now. Now, I do want to go ahead and make it clear that I actually made these as a mix-in for meat. There was a little bit of deer in there, but I've gone ahead and I'm using these to actually add into a larger batch. You can go ahead and do this. It's perfectly fine. Won't hurt the dog. But canning rice is kind of sort of frowned on, even though you find rice and noodles and everything else in canned foods. So let's go ahead and get that up. Now, if you're not too sure about measurements, get yourself an empty dog food can. Use this as a measurement. I am not going to can this. I am actually going to freeze these. This will probably give me about 2 weeks worth of dog food. And he's sitting over there whining because he wants it, and he wants it now. Perfect portion. Let me go ahead and get the rest of this done, and we'll work on the grease and the rest of the stock. Okay, now that we're finished bagging all these up, I have a little bit left over that won't fit in a bag, which we're going to go ahead and give to the dog. But it actually gave me 10 servings of the turkey meat, or the turkey meal. This, it has the bone and meat, and all the giblets went into this as well, so it does have quite a bit of iron in it. So let's go ahead and take this out, give it to my dog, and then we'll work on the stock and the rest of the turkey grease. We're going to go ahead and work on the bone broth. Now this is what I didn't use in the dog food. There's no salt or anything. There's just bones and water and a little bit of fat on top. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to warm this up. I am not going to go ahead and add anything like onions, celery, carrots like I did with the soup broth. I'm just going to add some salt and maybe some garlic powder and onion powder to this, and then can it up and process it, because this will last us quite a while. And just to let you know that this turkey grease is actually done. Take a look at that and see how clear that is. And this is about fried up. Still a little soft. But that'll go in as soon as that cools down. And that will also be a dog treat. All right, here we go with the straining of the turkey fat. This is very exciting and very warm. You want to get all the giblets out. You're going to let that strain for a good while. In fact, I am going to go ahead and hang this temporarily real quick for about an hour-ish. Make sure everything is out. All the liquid. Always keep the strainer on here because you never know if anything solid is going to fall out of the ends here, like I've got this here. What I usually do is that I'll put in a large handled spoon and put it through one of the handles on my cabinets. Just like that. This is how I do cheese as well. Get in there. And we'll just let that drip. Now over here we have the bone broth heating up a little bit. I have onion powder and garlic powder in here, a little bit of salt, and we're just going to warm that up to make sure everything is dissolved. And we're going to put it in jars. I'm going to put these in quarts. You can put these in pints. If you're making more, you can put them in half gallons. It's just family and what your family needs and personal preference. Okay, so now we have everything jarred and in the thing. I want to go ahead and mention, if you only have a few jars in here and you have a lot of room, go ahead and put in some regular jars with some water in it. That way these don't clash with each other and try to break each other. And I do want to go ahead and mention that bone broth and stock actually have different processing times. They are not meat times. It's 20 minutes per pint and 25 minutes for quarts. Okay, now that that is working on processing, we're going to go ahead and put this in a jar. Now, I'm going to use 1.5 pints. I love these. These are like my favorite size jars. I actually got this at a thrift store. I do believe somebody was using it like a sippy cup. It had a lid with a hole in it so you can put a straw in it. I am going to use this as an actual jar, like it's supposed to. You can get these at thrift stores, so long as you don't pay more than $1 for them, and you'll be good. You'll be paying about the same price-ish. Maybe a little bit more. Let's go ahead and pour all that grease in there, and the little tidbits at the bottom will actually fall to the bottom and stay on the bottom. But if you look, that filled up that entire jar. Now you can process this. Put a lid on it, heat it up, actually seal it so it'll be shelf stable. I'm not going to do this because I'm going to use this right away. Okay, so I'm outside because I am cleaning and it's very noisy in the house. But take a look at this bone broth, how thick it is, how rich it looks. And this is what I got. I didn't get all of these out. It won't fit on the table. But I've got your dog food, plain turkey, my Italian seasoning turkey, 4 quarts of bone broth. I've got drumsticks, thighs, wings, all of this done in one weekend. Oh, don't forget the fat. Can't forget the fat. Look at that. It's all nice and solid now. All of this from one 25-pound turkey. 0 waste. Grandma's tired. She's going to go play Minecraft for the rest of the weekend. Y'all have a good day.